What's happening, YouTube, and welcome to yet another PRLostGalaxy2014 review on McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Red Hood from Gotham Knights this time. So last time we just talked about the Batman Arkham Knight Red Hood. We're doing the Gotham Knights one. So we did the Arkham Knight one. We're doing Gotham Knights as Red Hood. Gotham Knights, I've heard of the game ever since it came out. Don't have a PS5 or Xbox Series at the moment to play the game, to get my own opinion and 2 cents on that game, but on a critical standpoint, I've heard the game is not that good. Yeah, sure, Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, really polarized people, but I think Gotham Knights probably polarized people just the same. Now, the game may be disappointing, but what about the toys inspired by it from McFarlane? Well, I have the first of many of those figures based on the game, and even though I never played Gotham Knights, but I will whenever I do get a PlayStation 5 or a Series X this 2025 and get my own copy of Gotham Knights, I'll probably play the game and see how it is and see what people, and prove some folks wrong, even though everybody's entitled to their own opinion. If you didn't like the game, that's okay, but I haven't played the game yet. But right now I'm more focused on the toys and the toys of said Batman Central game only. So here's Red Hood in the front. So you have the side showing the logo and which version of the character he's from. And then on the back, you have, this render of Red Hood, well, an action figure render of him. And then it has on the bottom features some figures you can also collect featuring, I can see Dr. Fate and I can see a certain version of Batman, but I don't think you can see well unless you want to pause the video. And you can see because with all of this so small, I can't really see much unless you have to pause the video. And see for yourself because the text is yet again too small. And I believe down there is what? Brainiac from Injustice? No, that can't be. And I know for a fact this is Wonder Woman, so I'm definitely getting this Wonder Woman next time. And Dr. Fate, and yeah, so if I can see well on that. So anyway, let's take a look at this Red Hood and see how he stacks up with my last one. Okay, so now that we got Gotham Knights Red Hood out of the package, let's look at some accessories, even though he doesn't have much as opposed to my last Red Hood. Trading card features, well, details of Jason Todd's story in Gotham Knights if you want to pause the video and read it a little bit before I continue. So here's his file card. And here's the front of the, the card showing the render of what we saw from on the box. Base stand is the same as every other DC Multiverse figure, so we'll put that on his foot later on. And the only accessories other than trading card and base stand is interchangeable hands, which are different, where you can, basically just have him do some gun finger gestures, and you're like, pew, I'm gonna shoot you, kind of gestures with the fingers, so you can do that. And also make sure the pegs are in when you change the hands, so you got the little holes to peg in the hands for when you want to change his hands and do that little gesture like he wants to shoot someone even though he doesn't have a gun. Now let's take a look at this Red Hood on the base stand and see how he stacks up. Just make sure it's in the hole, put the hole of the head, the leg into the peg. Leg and peg, that rhymes, and make sure it's in the hole all the way to the foot. Okay, it doesn't seem like it wants to stay in, doesn't it? Oh, it's in. Okay, it's in. Now let's take a look at the figure. So now, since I have not played the game, this is a really good looking Red Hood figure. I think this is a little bit better than the Arkham Knight one a little bit, because at least unlike the Arkham Knight one, which I'll pull out in a moment, is that he actually has head movement that actually, I can actually turn, and you can turn it in all degree angles. So you have that. And I do like the fact that his head, it seems like for some reason, looking at this head of Red Hood, every time I see this version of Red Hood with this face, he kind of looks like DC's Deadpool in a sense, but minus the black around the eyes. But, again, Deadpool has black around his eyes, but Red Hood doesn't. But he does have that Deadpool-esque mask going for him, which is okay. That's fine, because it looks very reminiscent. But, of course, Deadpool is Marvel and Red Hood is DC. I do like the suit, although I do think it's pretty gaudy in color. If only if it had a little bit more red. The red is a little bit too crimson and too a little muted, whereas the last Red Hood I got had all this bright red to him. Well, that's just me, I guess. I do like the brown and gray color scheme, and as well as the black on him. And he looks very, very thuggish, if you will, and looking like a pure Gotham gangster, if you will, like a gangster, version of Red Hood. And, a Red Hood, kind of guy that you'll see on the street. And if Batman isn't around, or Robin or Nightwing, you'll see Red Hood roaming around dressed like this. And even like the Red Hood I just recently reviewed, in a sense, I wouldn't be surprised if I see anybody cosplaying as this game's Red Hood, in any consideration whatsoever. Let's take a look at how Red Hood from Gotham Knights stacks up with the Arkham Knight Red Hood. Now here's Gotham Knights' Red Hood standing next to Arkham Knight's Red Hood. Yeah, Arkham Knight's Red Hood is better, even though that was the better Batman game. While Gotham Knights, I get it, the game is polarizing. Not as polarizing as Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. But these are decent Red Hood figures, even though I got two more left. So I got Arkham Knight and I got Gotham Knights, actually, in plural. I really do like the fact that they're very distinctly different, even though they're from two different Batman games made by the same company, Rocksteady, that did the Arkham games. And I really do like how the symbols are different. I do like the masks are different, or helmets of, for like this Red Hood. Yeah, at least as long as it's still Jason Todd, we're good. And yeah, so we definitely do need to also compare him with Arkham Knight. So therefore, this is like my third Jason Todd now in a row. Wait until I get the Dawn of DC and then this other Red Hood that I also have to collect. It still, again, escapes me at the moment, like I said from last video. Because once I have those, then I've already pretty much caught up on Red Hood, or I think there's probably like a few more Red Hoods I gotta collect. I don't know. It escapes me. Let me know in the comments, because I know there is just so much of Batman, so much of Batgirl, so much of Robin, Nightwing, and Red Hood, and all these other characters of the Bat family. So I think I just want to get the Bat family going before I do anybody else, like the villains, like all the different Jokers and Harley Quinns and Catwomans and Poison Ivies that are out there and possibly out, and so like, I really do need to catch up on a lot of this, because, I'm just getting started with DC Multiverse since I missed out on the last line of DC Multiverse. But as we focus on the main Red Hood, put these two away. Now let's take a look at the articulation on this Red Hood, and then we are finished. Okay, so before we wrap up, let's take a look at some articulation to see if he does play well, and to see if he's also worth collecting or not. So his head can turn very well, like I just demonstrated earlier. You can turn his head around, unlike the other Red Hood I just recently reviewed just today or so at the time of this recording. And okay, butterfly joint on the abdomen. You can turn a little bit, but just be careful, because also there's quite of a squeak on my Gotham Knights Red Hood for some reason. I don't know, maybe that's just because given the squeaky plastics they use to make the toys, I guess. The hood does not go over his head, unlike the other Red Hood I just reviewed. Let's take a look at some elbow crunching on this on this figure. It's a little tough, but I'm just trying to okay, I just had to do an elbow crunch on this arm, but it was a little tough on this one, as opposed to, I don't know, for some reason, as opposed to on my Arkham Knight one. Okay, and then, yeah, this is also just as tough too on this leg. His arms can move around fast. I was like, wow, this is some fast arm movement here. Just rotate them arms, man, so make sure it's worth playing with. Butterfly joints is limited because, in terms of butterfly joints on moving the arms over, that's because due to this. So it's, given the limitations on that, can't really do much. Now, what about, upper leg movement's good. Now, what about the knee crunch? Knee crunch is a little tight. Give me a moment. I'm just trying not to break the figure. And then here's his leg movement like this. Okay. Ankle pivot on this leg. And also I've noticed that he has some movable toes, just like that one Master Chief figure I got from the Spartan collection for Halo. And then as for his left leg, same thing. Do the knee crunch on that, and then do an ankle pivot, see how he moves, and then also flip the toe. So there you have it. gotta get him standing together, because I've noticed even when I opened him, he wasn't standing very well, but I just gotta get him to stay balanced. So in final thoughts, this Red Hood is pretty good, although wait until I do the next two. And even though Arkham Knight's Red Hood could have, you know, gave us more head movement, if, again, the hood, that's my only gripe with that, if the hood had more movement, you know, would move over so I can move his head. But the Gotham Knights one is pretty darn good too, even though some of the joints on this is a little stiff, but he's still kind of worth the collecting. So I just had to, because I just got to get started. Anyway, so if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, drop a like, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time with a new review and a new DC Multiverse McFarlane Toys review, and so I can get started. So there's plenty more where that come from next time when I look at more in the future. So anyway, thanks for watching.